So did you know that you could pay your ancestors so that they can do you a little bit of a favor? That's what we're going to be talking about in this episode, how to pay your ancestors so they can come through from the other side and hook you up with all your divine blessings, all right? If you're new to the channel, welcome. My name is Excel, and this is the Antojai community where we teach you everything about Reiki, Ascension, your psychic abilities, and so much more. So your ancestors, I'm going to get real deep real quick with as much detail as possible, okay? So your ancestors technically are in the past, right? So they live in some dimension of time which seems like the past to us. But according to quantum science and according to everything that shamanism and energy work has taught us, time doesn't actually exist, nor does space. There's only the distance that we create in our mind, which would be the space, and the time that we create in our mind, which would be the passing of the cycles, right? So in some quantum variable, your ancestors are living right now simultaneously next to you. They may not be able to perceive you, you may not be able to perceive them, but you're both aware that you both exist at some point in time. Us today are looking back and saying our ancestors helped us get here, but our ancestors from their point of view are creating things for us now. So because of that same thought process of descendants and ancestors, we can come into a connected field and talk to our ancestors in another timeline because time isn't real. We are existing simultaneously with them right now. Now, why is this important when you start working with your ancestors? Because you can actually get your ancestors to do some sort of work in the past so that your current self gets all the benefits. So if you end up realizing that in your family there's a huge track record of hatred and pain and anger or alcoholism, you today can connect to your ancestors in a bunch of different ways, and today I'm going to teach you one of them. You can connect to your ancestors and even counsel them or help them to get out of that behavioral pattern that then is going to manifest into maybe alcoholism or something like that for you and maybe your father, your grandfather, etc. So when you're allowing your mind, only your mind, to be expansive enough to embrace that time isn't exactly what you think it is, that's where you really start unlocking a lot of the magic to be able to connect with your ancestors. And there's a bunch of different ways you can connect with them. Your ancestors can help you not only with physical issues, they can help you with manifesting more abundance, having a better outlook on life. It really just depends on your point of interest and how you go about connecting with your ancestors. Now, one of the things that I do to connect with my ancestors and to even give them a little bit of incentive, we're all looking out for each other, is the way I see it in my family tree. My ancestors in the past have done a lot of things to get me to where I am today. They did personal investments. They went through their own shamanic journey. I come from a long line of shamans, so they all did their trainings, passed it down to other people so that today I could be here doing the same thing with the world, right? So they did a heavy investment into my reality. The only thing I can do is invest back into their reality. And the way I do that is I send them positive energy whenever it is possible. Now, there's something called ancestral money. And if you've never seen ancestral money, here it is, okay? It can look like this, or it can look like, regular pounds or euros or whatever it is, whatever currency your ancestors exist in or you feel drawn to using it. But these are things that you can buy on Amazon or any other place, and it's symbolic. It's a symbolic amount of energy or money that can manifest for your ancestors in another timeline, okay? Now, if your ancestors had the concentration to invest in the future descendants, you can return that energy by investing in the people that invested in you. It's an energy exchange, and you're going to notice that when you start having energy exchanges with your ancestors and other beings that you know in reality, the magic is that much more stronger. A lot of times people are accustomed to saying, hey, ancestors, I need this help for X, Y, and Z, and I need to get to the next level. And sometimes your ancestors come through and they answer you. Other times your ancestors don't come through because there's no equal exchange in that transaction, right? So a lot of times we're comfortable and we're like, oh, well, our ancestors live in the past. They've already lived their lives, yada, yada, yada. And they don't really need my help of anybody else. But you really need to understand that they still do benefit and can have an experience from your help in your energy work and your counseling and whatever other abilities you have that you can send via space and time to those people. So since my ancestors invested a lot of money in me, I like to send them money back, okay? So I'll grab this energy, I'll burn it, and I'll send it to them, and I'll set the intention like, okay, you guys helped me so much with this one manifestation. Here you go. Whatever it is that you're experiencing in your reality, I hope that this energy can reach you in that time space and help you solve the issue that you're experiencing. Well, and I'll be like, hey, ancestors, I need you to help me access this one particular vibration in my reality. I need you to help me attain this one manifestation that I'm looking for. And as a byproduct, I'm going to pay you a certain amount of energy to help me accomplish that vibration. Now, however much money you end up giving to your ancestors is based off of the intuitive guidance that you feel. Sometimes I will give them a whole lot of money for them to help me with something. Other times I just have to give them this one thing to pay them off to get whatever I'm looking for. So you have to have this relationship outside of time and space with your ancestors to really draw in more of the magic that comes from having ancestral magic. One of the other things that you have to constantly think about is like you cannot be using ancestral money, okay, to just collect things from your ancestors. You actually have to be like randomly, hey, I'm just gonna send you some good vibes. Here you go. I hope it helps anyone and everyone who needs this money right now. And you split it across all your ancestors. You can split it across your ancestors or send it to one specific ancestor that you know really needs this help. Now, based off of quantum science and how quantum science really operates in general, since time and space doesn't exist, there's another version of one of your ancestors that's probably doing this for you, or maybe one of your descendants that is right now having the same kind of epiphany or experience, and they're sending you positive vibes because time is not linear. Time is not a line. Time is an infinity symbol that goes back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Time is an infinity. If you can think about time, infinity, and your own bloodline, you can then do miraculous healing. You can create miracles for yourself and other people. Now, this is another great technique that I'll use even when I'm in certain Reiki sessions. If I know I'm going to get into like an energy healing session, whether it's Reiki, Antojai, quantum alchemy, or any other form of energy medicine that you work with other people's minds and subconsciouses, sometimes you feel like your client's going to be a lot more than what you are experienced in working with. And that's where this ancestral money comes through. Right before I have my session with my client, I'll send a certain amount of money to the ancestor that knows the most about this particular subject matter that I'm going to be dealing with. I'm going to pay you for your expertise, for your energy, for your wisdom, for your ability to come through space and time to teach me in real time what I'm doing with this person. And that's it. I burn it. You always burn these. So you direct it to someone, you burn it. And when you burn it, fire is plasma. It's plasma energy. Therefore, it's beyond really working with the material world as we know it entirely. So when you burn it in fire, you're sending that energy back into the cosmos, and it's that energy that gets burnt, the intention of that energy that travels space and time and ends up getting to your ancestors. Now, when you get really good at doing this technique, you will notice that your ancestors can then have a trading platform with you, similar to like a cryptocurrency or anything else. You can actually make deals with your ancestors and say, okay, what is it that you need in your timeline? I'll make sure I can do whatever I can to help you in your timeline. And they'll be like, okay, what do you want from your timeline? And you tell them, and then you have an equal exchange constantly. It helps you kind of bridge the gap between distance. A lot of times when we work with our ancestors, it's like per thing that we want. Like, ancestors, I need your help in solving my relationship. Bam, they come through, they give you the answers, and then it kind of like goes back into time and you fade away from that. It's super important to allow yourself to work with time, but to hold in the forefront of your mind that time is not real. And if you continuously live that life where time is not the main factor that controls everything in this reality, that's when you'll be able to really, really understand quantum dynamics when it comes to energy work, when it comes to your own soul, when it comes to spiritual energy. So if you like this video and you found it super helpful, helpful. Don't forget to subscribe, comment, share, and follow us on all the other platforms that we got. Join us on Patreon and join us in our new school where you'll be able to learn all the secret techniques that I've learned that I don't get to teach other people on many other platforms. If you want to do one-on-one coaching with me, check out the links in the description below, and I will catch you in the next episode. Thanks for being here.